Hello. So we've got the BMW 330D E93 here, N57 engine, so it's the facelift version. Got sort of an intermittent power loss, so it'll boost at times. It's almost like having a boost leak, but it comes and goes. At times it speeds up fine, and at times it's like, you know, it's really sluggish, slow. With this, with what I also get is the revs sort of fluctuate. It's not really doing it at the moment. I did have it kind of running to kind of show, but yeah, once the car heats up, it doesn't do it as much. It's generally just on sort of when the car is still cold. The revs are what you'd call hunting, so the revs are sort of slightly fluctuating. Anyways, nevertheless, I've got a few fault codes coming up, a boost pressure signal or something like that. And what I feel like it is the car is occasionally getting full boost and at times it's not, or it's maybe there's a fueling issue. So what I'm going to take a look at the moment is the actuator. So I've managed to sort of, having done some research and things, to show you. The turbo actuator might engage at some point. I feel like, because this car was parked up for a while, I feel like that might be kind of stuck. But it's not, basically it's not fully closing when it needs to. So yeah, I'm going to try that. I'm going to take the turbo off and just try and see by cleaning that up in there, that sorts it out. If not, I'm going to have to do it full. Right, so it's just, I think that's where the actuator is, so I think the actuator is just sort of opened up, closed or whatever it is. So having done some research, what it comes down to is either that's going to be dirty in there, it's all clogged up, or this, so this is like the actuator, and this is electronically controlled. So in that little box in there, there's some electrical contacts that I need to check out. They could be broken or gone or something, so I'm going to go do that. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to do an ejector leak off test and make sure the ejectors are running right. And the other thing is, when I disconnect the map, if it does it now, okay, there's no change in it right now, so it's running how it would be. But what I generally get is when I disconnect the map, I get not full power, but it gets a lot better. Right now it's a hot day here. I've just been driving this as well, so it's going to have to cool down. I'm going to get started with what I can. So what we need to do is, to get to the turbo, need to take this filter off. There is another bolt on this pipe as well, just around there. I've got a 10mm in there, but it's meant to be a small reverse Torx bolt, I believe an E10. So those two would come off, and then the intercooler pipe that is down there, that needs to come off. And then there's 3 bolts underneath the turbo which are supporting the turbo, and then there's some oil lines and things down there. I'll take a look at those afterwards. But yeah, for now, let's get these intake pipes off. So a little update. I've got the 2 intake pipes off. So the intercooler pipe there, and then the air intake pipe there. I took the bottom kind of under tray off just because it was easier to get to everything with those, because there's a oil line and turbo support is underneath as well, so I'll show you that in a second. But 15mm bolt there, that's a banjo bolt, so it's got washers either side, copper washers. Then these two clamps, so you got one there, that was I think it was an E10 reverse Torx, and then you got this clamp over here for from the manifold there. So you got those two, and then that's pretty much it from the top. At the bottom you've got that there. I believe that's going to be, I think that they look like 10mm, so I'm going to go with the 10mm on those. That's the return pipe, and then you got a support bracket there. Those are 13mm on those, and that should take the turbo off, hopefully with a bit of luck. Still got to take those clamps off, but yeah. Right, so we got it off in the end. Had to remove this heat shield in the end because it was so tight. I literally couldn't get it out. I ended up taking the actuator off and while it was there and just turning it around. But yeah, I would definitely say take the heat shield off. It's only 3 10mm bolts, and got this pipe here as well. That comes off. Which, by the way, when you put this pipe back in there, make sure you've got that 100% lined up, because it's very easy to round that off. This is actually a replacement manifold for somebody who'd rounded it off previously. So yeah, all those lines are off. You can see this is a bit caked up in there, so might want to give this a bit of a flush. Speaking of which, I've gone ahead, bought some of this, and give this a go. If you don't have access to something like that, then I also had this oven degreaser, which basically does the same thing. I love doing jobs like this. I don't know why. So we've got this all off, cleaned up, and it looks like there was pretty much nothing wrong with it. But at least it'd be nice and clean going back on there now, so I'll tidy it all up. Speaking of which, I've done a little product test on the heat shield there. The bit that's still on there on the right, that's the Mr. Muscle stuff, and the bit that you can't see anything on actually had that Halford stuff on it. The purple can, some engine degreaser or whatever, some ultimate stuff. But yeah, not on there now. We're gonna wash it off in a second and we'll see. But just coming back to this, so here's your actuator box, whatever, control box. That goes into there. There's a little C-clip on this as well. Make sure you don't lose that. That just pries off, and it's tiny, so if you lose that, you're game over. But yeah, so that goes on there. And with this movement in here, if you look into this side, just carefully, this is the DPF side. You can see I've had the degreaser stuff in here as well, and some brake cleaner and stuff. So if you look in here, this is the exhaust manifold side, because this is where the where it's going to sort of be controlled from. In there, see these little vents. Right, so that's what I was trying to get at. And they look fine, they're moving fine. These are already moving nice and freely. There's a bit of a gap in there. Right, 1 second. it doesn't close fully all the way, which is where I'm guessing it's meant to be honest. Because it obviously has to, otherwise the exhaust manifold will probably just blow off. So yeah, that looks about right. And yeah, it's all spinning in there nice and freely. So no issues there. Yeah, that looks all good. We'll put this back on together now. I'm going to clean it up and everything first.